Welcome back to the channel. Alright, and welcome to another video. From the title and the thumbnail, you may be a little bit confused. As you know, I've played the Apex, the Callaway Apex for the past coming up on a year now, and they have been great irons, but I have discovered that they do not spin quite enough for where I'm swinging and how fast I'm swinging, and just kind of like my specs. Okay, they worked really well for a while, but basically what I've discovered is I need something that spins a little more. I want to be able to work the ball both ways a little more. I want to be able to, work in cuts and be able to hit draws at the same time. And right now with the Apex, they don't spin quite enough for that, and that's one thing that you're going to see in this video. I am doing another iron fitting. And I've talked to Jake, and I've even talked to some of you guys here in the comments about I need an iron that spins a little more. So that is kind of what I'm going to be working through today. I want to break down the consistency. I want to be able to hit a 7 iron 190 yards every time. There's just a lot of dispersion with what I'm working with right now. So with all that being said, I'm really excited for this, and I think you guys are really gonna like this video. There's a lot of information in here that is very cool. So stick around. Also, guys, before we get into this, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the recent support. August was awesome. There was a lot of growth on the channel and a ton of new subscribers. So just wanted to say thank you. And I'm closing in on the 200,000 mark. So still trying to beat Matt and Steve. I'm closing the gap. So if you're watching this video, if you're new to the channel, or if you just haven't subscribed for some reason, it goes a long ways in helping me be able to do what I am doing. So thank you guys so much. Guys, we're gonna jump right into the fitting here, and gonna head over to Stripe Show. So we'll see you guys there. Just get better, okay?
All right, y'all, welcome back to Tig's channel. We're here at the Stripe Show fitting it up. We're gonna do all of our shaft testing with the Titleist 620 CB. We're gonna start out with the Mitsubishi Chemical MMT 105 TX. The shaft actually weighs 113 grams. Yes, it is graphite. It has a metal mesh woven within the fibers, so it plays like a steel shaft. This is not your grandpa's graphite. So a lot of players on tour have kind of switched over to it this year because it's easier on their joints, and it's a super stable shaft. So we're moving on now to Micah's current shaft, the Modus 120X.
Yeah, that's a contender. And I just want to take note. You guys know that there was a time in here where I was swinging 6 iron, and that path right there was 8. It was at probably 8 to 10 degrees.
It was
6, 8, 10, and it was so inconsistent. But I've been right around that, just under 3,
2 to 3, yeah.
Which is, you guys know I've been working really hard on that, and me and Mike are getting it. We're getting it going. So I'm feeling really excited about that, creating that more consistent delivery through the impact zone, which has just been awesome.
So we're still hitting the CB 620. I put a little lead tape on the head to get the swing weight right for Micah. And we're going to hit the Modus 125X, which is just a lower launching shaft, a little heavier profile than the Modus 120.
Sometimes you gotta know when to just let them go, and that one I'm just gonna let go. It's just not for me. Same club still, but we're moving on to a KBS. Jay calls them money taper. It's S taper 130.
Yep. So that's the weight. So we're trying the OG now. It's the True Temper X100 Dynamic Gold tour issue. Tiger Woods, Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, you name it, they're playing.
5 shafts here. Jake's gonna eliminate the few that were just like that's an instant no. And then we're gonna look at all of the numbers to see which one is working best shaft-wise, and then we're probably gonna start moving through some irons here. I know a couple of those felt really good.
So with your current clubs, when we fit you were spinning it out of a 53, 5500, somewhere in that neighborhood. Because you're taking so much loft off the clubs, you're not spinning as much. So your stopping power, if you scroll down here, you're at 2.9 yards of roll on a 203 yard carry, where everything else is under 2. That's what we want. And spin and height are going to be the reasons that we're stopping the ball faster. So, you know, any of these 4, just from a spin perspective, are going to be, you know, qualifiers, so to speak. Then we scroll over here to height, and we're looking for a window of essentially 90 to 120 feet. I like anything that falls like right here in this 110 feet for you, because you can still hit that piercing trajectory without getting puffed around in the wind.
Right.
So we've got good spin on all 3 of these, or all 4 of those, and we've got good height on all 4 of them.
Yeah.
So,
and this right here, guys, see this 4600 compared to this average of 55, maybe close to 5600. That is the reason that I hit a lot of irons, and I'm saying sit, like just asking it to sit, because they don't spin enough, and so the ball just goes forever.
It's a jumper.
Right, and so that's, and then, you know, it lands on the green and it rolls out 15 feet, so there's not, this right here is going to make a huge difference in me not yelling at it so much.
Yeah, when we pick an iron out of our bag, we know that that iron is supposed to go a certain distance, and the shot that we pulled it for, we're trying to hit it to a specific target at a specific distance and get it to stop as quickly as possible, as close to it. 2 things stop golf balls: spin and height. So this has the lowest height and the lowest spin, and it rolls out the furthest.
Yeah.
So then we add height to all of them, and we get the ball to stop. We add spin, we get it to stop a little quicker.
Yeah.
So height and spin are what we're looking at. So when it comes down to it, we're going to pretty much test the money taper and all the rest of the shafts, because that was the top performer for all the rest of the club heads.
Yeah.
And then when we find the club head that we're going to go with, we're going to hit your current shaft in it, because it's been pretty good to you, and it performed well again here. So I don't think that that's an accident. Tailor-made P7MC. So very similar flange and blade length to the Titleist 620 CB. Very similar looking head. It's just going to be performance related and preference of feel.
Yeah, that just wasn't it. That just wasn't it. I don't know what it was, but it just wasn't it.
We're gonna hit the T100, Titleist T100. So these just came out. Basically, it's a muscle back, so it's a little bit more forgiving than what you hit, but it's not in the category of what you're currently hitting. So you can see it's got the same type of offset.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a very blade-like. This is what Speed plays.
Okay.
A bunch of the tour players play this, and they move from kind of this club to this, just because it has a little more forgiveness on a toe miss.
Yeah. Okay.
Than this club's gonna have. Why don't you set it up?
I like the way this looks, but this club is just something about it like just didn't feel right. So we're just moving on. I'm just gonna do that. Just gotta move on. So that was pretty good. I like all the numbers were pretty good except for the height. It was just going a lot higher than.
It's just the launch angle's
Yeah.
a little bit high, but there's 2 other shafts that you hit really well, and there are occasions where even though a shaft fits you really well in testing with a head, that another shaft that performed well just performs better in a specific head. So we're going to definitely put this aside for further testing. And potentially hit another shaft or 2 in it.
All right, so we're moving on to the Mizuno, same shaft, the 9.
The JPX 921 Tour. I've taken out the clubs that just didn't perform. I went through and looked at the data. The P7 MC, TaylorMade, just you weren't feeling it, just it didn't perform. I took out the JPX 921 Forge just because it didn't perform compared to what we already had on the board, and your feedback was you didn't really care for the miss hits. The T100, you really had good comments on. The numbers look really good. And the Srixon ZX7, which we added in at the last second, really performed well, and you had high marks as far as how it felt and how it looked. That's what we're looking at right now. As far as spin numbers go, I mean, you spun the 620 CB a little higher than you spun the T100
right.
or the ZX7, and that's not surprising. It's a more bladed club, and it's going to spin the ball a little bit more.
Gamer.
We didn't have any issue with stopping power on the T100 or the ZX7. So, I mean, we're right here with those two. So
still pretty much half of
spinning it lower and still stopping it.
Yeah.
Our efficiency here with the T100 was through the roof. Take a look at the height. We're at 118 feet, 111 feet with the ZX7. So this is on the higher end of the threshold. These are all in the middle. So I'm like stuff kind of in the middle. We can live with this though.
Ooh.
That 620 CB is still, pretty tight.
Still holding, yeah.
So that's the Srixon ZX7.
Okay.
It's pretty nasty. You hit 8 balls.
Main distance, 203. 21 feet. What is standard deviation?
From miss hit to good hit, you're at 21 feet. So 7 yards difference between your miss to your, smoked ones.
Okay, yeah.
And then here's the T100. 15 feet, 16 feet, so pretty tight.
With the S taper or money taper.
It's really going to be between the 620 CB, the T100, and the ZX7, and we could end up with a blended set of CB T100s or ZX7s. We're not sure what we're going to end up with at this point, but we're getting real close.
We hit the Srixon not on camera. I still think the T100 is a little bit better. All right, so the reason that I'm hitting the T100 head over the CB, which these both came out really good. I just like the way that the T100 looks a little better. It feels a little more comfortable in my hands than the CB. So that's why we're kind of working with this one right now, because I'm leaning more toward this, just comfortability wise, numbers wise, they're pretty close. Dynamic gold.
X100 Tour.
X100 Tour, yeah. Alright, so this is the same shaft that I'm playing right now with the T100 head. The dynamic gold just was a little, didn't feel quite right. It was good, but it wasn't great. Alright, so this is my gamer shaft right now with the Srixon ZX7. It's between this one and the T100.
Test shafts first, same head to eliminate variables. Once we figure out what shaft is working best for you, we kind of go with best one performing in that head that we tested, and then we tested in other heads. And once we figure out what heads you like the look and feel of, then we kind of go through the process of elimination on performance, and the person has to like what they're looking at, they have to like the feel. It's hard to argue with numbers. Usually when it feels good, the numbers are going to be pretty good. Yeah. So we've arrived at the T100 because he still gets workability, he gets thin top line, it's a player's club, it's what Jordan Spieth hits on, a ton of other Titleist staffers on tour, so it's not, it's considered a player's iron and it's used on tour regularly. The new T100 just came out last week, so bonus for you, it's a brand new club right at the start of its cycle.
Well guys, through lots of testing, lots of swings, and lots of just a lot of numbers here, we have narrowed it all down to one club and one shaft. And believe it or not, I'm going to be hitting the same shaft that I have been playing, the Modus Pro 120 and the 120X, and then I am going with the
Titleist T100.
T100 head. It's just numbers, consistency, feeling, looks, comfortability, everything just makes sense to me, and it's really good. So super excited about this. Jake, once again, thank you, bro. This has been awesome. Listen, everything for Stripe Show is linked at the top of the description. Check him out if you're in Dallas. If you're not, best club fitter in the area, just knows how to hook you up, and he is getting me dialed, and just progress is happening. So shout out to this guy. Absolutely. Once again. Thanks for tuning in today's video. Lots of progress, and super excited about this. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday for some more videos. I can't wait to put these irons in play. They're gonna be awesome. So peace.